It's a new day and we have a Siren and Mermaid theme collection dropping soon. So if you want to see looks, swatches, hear my first impression thoughts on the new Gourmand Girls collection, then just keep watching. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I have a major passion for makeup, especially eyeshadow palettes. So if you like to see all the new releases, especially indie brands, this is the place for you. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so I am feeling a little bit under the weather. I think it's the allergies, but before I took a Claritin, my nose was running like crazy bananas. So I didn't really put any makeup or foundation on right here. I just slapped on some Aquaphor because my nose is feeling so dry. So I do apologize if my makeup looks a little bit sketch, but that's what's going on. Anyways, I have the latest collection from Gourmand Girls, and this was too good to pass up. There was no way I could let this collection go and not film a video, so that's what I'm going to do today. I have close-ups and swatches of these two palettes. So this is the Call of the Sirens palette, and I love this color story. It kind of reminds me of the Celestial something palette that Beaute launched a while ago. I haven't actually ever played with that one, but I'm so excited to have the Gourmand Girls palette with me because I've already swatched it and it's gorgeous. So on the back we have all the shade names and all of the disclaimers about pressed pigments and eyeshadows, and it also says that this palette is made in the PRC and this has a 12-month shelf life. It's cruelty-free and vegan. And then we have the Mermaid Magic Palette, and all the same information can be found on the back. It's also made in the PRC, 12-month shelf life, cruelty-free and vegan, and it looks like this. I don't know if Gourmand Girls has ever done a highlighter palette or a highlighter blush palette like this one, so I'm super duper excited. And it also has a beautiful mirror. This is such a cute collection. I think when I saw the packaging, I was kind of expecting a blue-green palette, and they really did such a good job being a little bit different compared to what we would typically expect from a mermaid and siren themed collection. So let's go ahead and roll into close-ups and swatches of both of these palettes so I can give you some information. So if you've seen some of my latest videos, I've been talking a lot about tariffs and stuff like that. So far, I haven't seen any updates from Gourmand Girls. Right now, my code does work with them. I do have an affiliate code with Gourmand Girls. It's KHMAKEUP if you want to use it on this collection. Save a bit of money. I will also make a commission on that, which I'm super duper appreciative of. It'll just go right back into my channel, of course. And this collection is launching on April 18th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is my time zone. Definitely set an alarm. I think you are going to be really impressed with this collection. I haven't put this on my eyes yet, but the swatches, you guys, I was blown away. And I love that they changed up the packaging too, because I know they've done this packaging for their peach palette, but it was fun to see this type of packaging for another palette as well, because they usually do like the rectangular shaped palettes. So let's talk about the highlighter palette first, because I like to save the eyeshadow palette for the end. And we have 3 what I would call highlighter shades and 3 blush shades. So Strand is a beautiful green shifty iridescent shade. La Mer is a blue shifting purple shade. And then we have Lagoon, which is a shifty purple shade. And then the blush shades are Temptress, which is a pink. We've got Neptune, which is a lilac shade, and Seashell, which is a really pretty peach color. The blushes do look a little light, so I'm very curious to see how they show up on my skin tone, but either which way, super excited. I'm not really sure how much these palettes are going to retail for, but if I can find the information, I'll definitely throw it in the description box for you guys. And then, of course, we have the gorgeous eyeshadow palette. So this palette contains 15 shades, and each of the shadows has a really pretty embossing. We've got some cute little like whales, unicorns. We've got some really cute star embossings. So we start off with the shade Spellcaster, which is like a really pretty yellow duochrome, which has a beautiful green shift to it. We have Unicorn, which is a beautiful Purple Matte. Sea Nymph is a beautiful teal. Laurel, I think is how you say it, is a beautiful like multi-chrome that shifts from purple to eggplant to like gold green. And then we have Menagerie, which is a beautiful matte gray shade. We've got the shade Fairy, which is a beautiful light pink. Moonlight is a beautiful light blue shade. Bewitch is a beautiful bright orange shimmer. Undersea is a beautiful blue metallic. It's very flaky. It almost looks like a pressed glitter in the pan, but it's just the shade and like the texture of it. It's very sparkly. And then Starfish is a dark purple shade. Elixir of Life is another shadow that almost looks like a pressed glitter, but it's not. And then Seahorse is a beautiful neutral brown. Femi is a dark purple. Siren is a beautiful copper that shifts red. And then the last shade is Lagoon, which is a dark teal color. So those are all the shades. I hope you enjoyed the swatches. As you can see, it's swatched so beautiful, very pigmented, and I had no problem building anything up. I'm actually a little bit scared to put this on my eyes because of how pigmented the shadows are. So I am nervous. I feel like I need to make sure I know where I'm putting everything. Okay, so I think I'm going to do a look on each eye because I think this palette is getting revealed pretty soon and I just don't have time to do 2 looks, one each time. So I'm going to do one on each eye instead. So I hope you guys are okay with that. I'm going to zoom you guys in and get started. So when you look at this palette, I feel like it's very color heavy, but I can definitely see some neutral looks kind of emerging from this color story. So I'm going to do a neutral look and then I'm going to do a more colorful look. So hopefully that kind of gives you guys some inspiration. I feel like that's so important with palettes because you never want a palette to be a one-trick pony. I'm curious how you guys feel about this. I've been seeing a particular indie brand showing a lot of interest in like sending PR to creators, and they specifically say they're like really interested in sending PR to creators that use their palettes past release and multiple times. And as much as I would love that, and as much as I would love every indie brand's palette to get used multiple times, multiple ways with each launch, I don't feel like that's the most realistic, especially with how YouTube works. I think maybe on Instagram and stuff, people don't mind if you're using the newest palette because they're more so looking for tutorials and like inspo. But with YouTube and how YouTube works, you can't really recycle, and there's only so many ways you can make an older product interesting. So I always feel like I would love to take a peek behind the curtain and see how brands decide who they're sending PR to, because I can sit here and bang on about a palette that I used to love over and over again, but it's not going to help me any. And it's not even about the affiliate money. It's just that if you're not making affiliate money, the other way to make income on YouTube is through views, and views are like a currency here on YouTube. And with all the stuff happening with like tariffs and stuff, it's definitely getting me more focused on building up my views, because as much as it's so nice to make money on affiliates and stuff like that, if brands aren't around, or you know, the indie brands like don't stick around and don't offer affiliates, then the only thing we can bank on is doing our videos and making money through views, which I will say, like, I definitely started my channel not wanting to make money, but it has changed as my life has changed, because now I stay home with 2 little kids, and I don't think there's anything wrong with making money on the internet and creating content. So at the end of the day, YouTube is free for you to watch, and if you decide to use my code and buy something, that's great, but that's not always a guarantee. I do rely on YouTube to fund my spending and things related to my channel, so I just thought it was so interesting that this brand in particular I had noticed kept saying like, we're only looking for creators that will, well, I don't know that they said they're only, but they very much emphasize that, and I'm like, okay, but how many palettes would somebody have to sell to make that worth it. Like, how many palettes would I have to sell to make? Usually it's like 10 or 15% commission on a palette sale to make your paycheck worth it. Like, that's so many palettes. And I don't know, I feel like it's an interesting vibe. I don't know that some brands like still get it. Like, I feel like some brands just still don't get how that works. Like, it doesn't only have to benefit you as the brand, like it's also an expense to us. I just feel like it's so interesting how different brands are approaching the tariffs. So we'll see, but I just thought it was so interesting that it's like, are you the only one that's supposed to make money? Because I can sit here and do videos about palettes from last year, but nobody's gonna watch the video. So I don't know why you would hamstring a influencer like that. And also, it's like, people want to know about your latest launch and they're gonna watch videos about your latest launch. So I think if I was a brand owner, I would just send it to like a variety of creators, not just only creators that do multiple videos over a period of time. So I would love to hear your guys' 2 cents, because at the end of the day, you guys are the people that watch the content. So I love hearing what my subscribers have to say. I just foiled on that shade called Siren. It's like a really pretty coppery color, and I thought it would be a really pretty neutral shade to pop on the lid. And it actually foiled on much nicer than I was expecting. And while I was yapping, I forgot to tell you guys, but I used the shade Femi in the outer corner. And yeah, it really blended out quite nicely. But it's also very pigmented, so if I wanted to, I could just go back in with my melt brush and just kind of stamp it on there, just to kind of keep it nice and smoky there on the outer corner. I'm going to go into this shade called Spellcaster with the same brush, and I just want to tap a little bit of it on top. It has like a green sparkly effect to it, so I can help myself. So this is pretty much the first neutral look. And now on this eye, I'm going to do a more colorful, more intense kind of look. Or at least I'm going to attempt to do that. I should really put in a disclaimer there. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the teal color called Lagoon. This is so pretty. I love that they did a dark blue or like a dark teal, a mid-tone teal, and then like a light teal as well. Really gives you like a really good gradient. So I'm using the dark teal on the outer corner. Then I think I'm going to use the shade called Starfish right here. And I'm going to layer that like right on top of the shade Lagoon. Okay, and then I'm going to take the light shade called Fairy. And I'm going to start putting that kind of like on the lid and slowly blending the darker shades into the crease. These shadows are so pigmented. Actually, I might need a clean brush to do that with. Guys, I have had my decluttered palettes like sitting on the floor here, and not that I decided to do anything with them just yet, but they were sitting on the floor, and I have all these like extra totes, like these plastic bins, and I finally just like packed everything away and just like piled them all on top of each other, but they're kind of like put away, and it made such a difference in my room. But now what I've started doing is saving Sephora boxes in case I decide to list palettes this summer. I don't really have a ton of cardboard boxes to pack things in. So if you are a seller of things on the secondhand market, let me know, because I would love to know where you get your shipping supplies from. The only place I found was U-Haul for bubble wrap, but I bought some boxes last summer from my husband's company because they buy, like, they have a Uline account, but the girl that like helped me with it, she doesn't work there anymore, and I'm like really scared to ask because it was not a very seamless process. So I don't know if there's anyone else I could just do it at, but that is kind of the look I was going for, was just mixing the 3 shades over and over again. And now I think I'm going to go into the shade Elixir of Life. It's a really pretty purpley shimmer, and I'm just going to use this big old paddle brush again. It's a very sparkly sheer shadow. And I packed it on a little bit, so that's cute. And I really want to take a skinnier flat brush, and like this one from Unearthly, and I'm going to go into the shade, it's called Bewitch, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that shade in between the lid and the outer corner where the mattes are. I want to see if I can create a little bit of orange like there. Cute. Okay, it's very, very sparkly, so I'm just gonna leave it. I saw like people gluing like really cute pearls and stuff to their eyeballs, and I know I did something with pearls for my Blend Money palette video that was also like a Siren palette, but I don't think I have any more pearls with me, or maybe I do, but you know what, it's quite late and I am definitely ready to get this party started. So I'm going to line the waterline quick, and I'm going to finish up these looks. But first, let's go ahead and do blush, because why not? We're here, so we might as well get it over with. And let's see. So I think I'm going to have to use this peachy shade on this eye with the neutrally vibes, and then I think I can mix these two together and make something really pretty with the colors of this eye look. So I'm just going to grab this melt brush, and I'm going to go right into the peachy shade. I'm so curious to see the pigmentation of these blushes. They felt very light, and I feel like they could go gray on me with my undertone. But I know that Gourmand girls had do swatches of this, Deanna Nicole. So I'm guessing that this is going to work on many skin tones. I feel like it's a little bit lighter than what I usually like, but I mean, it's definitely there, so there's that. But I feel like it could have been a little bit bolder for me, but it's there. She's showing up, so it is what it is. And then I'm going to take the same brush, I just wiped it off on my Sigma switch, and I'm going to start off with the bolder pinkier color, and then I will kind of tame it with the lilac. I'm a little bit scared, I'm not gonna lie, of lilac blushes, because I feel like, again, they kind of go gray on me with my undertone. The pink one feels a little bit more pigmented. I don't know that I love the lilac shade on me. Okay, so I think that's about the best I can do with those two, and then let's play with some highlighters. So we've got some really pigmented looking highlighters as well. So I don't really have anything that's gonna go with this peachy one, because it's definitely more of that neutral look. So let's go ahead and start off with Lagoon and see. I'm just gonna put a little bit right here towards the back, and then I'm gonna go into La Mer, put it right here, and then I'm gonna go into the lightest shade called Strand and like make a little like almost like an ombre. These are very pigmented. I didn't even have to spray it. It's right there, so you can see all 3 highlighters, very intense. And then I'm just going to use my Fenty highlighter on this side just to go with this look. But I'm going to finish up this makeup, and I'll be right back to show you guys the finished looks and give you my first impression thoughts on the new collection from Gourmand Girls. Okay, friends, so here are the 2 finished looks. What do y'all think? Definitely let me know if you have a favorite one. If you like the more neutral one, leave the word neutral in the comments. And if you like the more colorful one, then leave the word mermaid in the comments. Yeah, I'm so unique. I know. Anyways, these are the finished looks. I really am enjoying both of them. Let me tell you really quick what else is on my face today, in case you guys are curious. So I've just been wearing these 2 things because I'm testing them out for Florida. I'm wearing the One Size Turn Up the Base Full Beat Foundation and the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer in the shade 3W, so decided to wear those. And then I'm wearing the Charlotte Tilbury Contour one in the shade Tan, and the Hoola bronzer. This is in the shade medium. I don't feel like this one picks up that much on my brush, so I'm still undecided about how I feel about this bronzer, but I will definitely keep you guys updated. And then I'm wearing the Fenty highlighter on this side. And then for my lip today, I was going to use something a little bit more extra, but honestly I have like no makeup on this portion of my face, so I just went with this neutral shade from Mented Cosmetics because I want to draw as little attention as I can to this area of my face. Just look at my eyes, okay? Look at my eyes because the face is a hot mess right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about my first impressions on this collection. Now, I am not going to lie, I'm not a big colorful highlighter person, so the face palette is kind of 50-50. I think it pairs really well with this collection, and I did end up using these highlighters in my inner corner as well, so they are definitely multi-use products. You can use them on your eyes, your inner corner. I think they provide a nice addition to the palette. I will also say the blushes were very lightly pigmented. It's not that I don't think this palette is beautiful. I just feel like we probably all have shades like this, so you probably don't need to jump on this highlighter palette unless, of course, you feel like these shades are calling to you and you like the packaging and you like the formula and stuff like that, which I totally understand. I'm definitely a completionist when it comes to collection, so I could definitely see people wanting to get both, but I'm trying to save you some money here. If you are humming and hawing about the blush and highlighter palette, I say skip this one because you probably have shades like this in your collection already. As far as the eyeshadow palette goes, I think they did such a cool job with this color story. I think it's fun and unique, and I think the formula is really wonderful. The mattes are really nice and pigmented. They blend, but they also really pack a punch, and you can really go on and layer the mattes, so I really like that. The shimmers are beautiful. They're flaky, but I feel like they foiled really nicely. I do wish we had a couple of more lighter shimmer options. Like some of these shades are so deep, so I wish we had maybe like a blue shade like this, something just a little bit lighter. And this purple is beautiful, but I wish it was more purple, but that's just like personal preference. But this is a very beautiful, smoky, colorful palette. I really, really like this. I think they did such a fun job with the color story, so I'm really impressed. And I would say that if you're interested, you should definitely pick it up. So like I said, this collection is launching on the 18th at 10 a.m. Central Time, and you can use my discount code KHMAKEUP to save on the Gourmand Girls website. Let me know what you think of this collection. Are you planning on picking any of this up? I always love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And if you have a little bit more time, YouTube should be suggesting some of my other videos for you guys to check out. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in another video very, very soon. Bye, friends!